That like breakdown of Pantera like is so undervalued.
So
Yeah.
the lyrics are kind of scathing, but it's definitely not like it sounds like Architects now. I'm like,
Nice and heavy, dude. There you go. Yes, something I always gotta give you credit to because whatever project you're in, you're about the heavy life, man, which is always nice. Like
yeah, kind of when I wake up, the first thing I want to listen to is Extreme Metal, and when I go to sleep, like I used to religiously go to sleep listening to Hate Eternal or Nile. They're like two albums that like Black Seeds of Vengeance by Nile and Hate Eternal King of All Kings. And
yeah.
just get pummeled to sleep by blast beats. That's just
I did not know that. That's a good. Okay, good.
I love it. Yeah, it's like white noise in it almost, isn't it? Because it's like.
So yeah, you're no stranger to the heavy. Is there anything nowadays, especially like music has gotten dumb at this, but like like some stuff is just like hilarious. Is there anything that phases you anymore? Any specific bands maybe that you are like, holy, like wow, that's pretty.
No, not really. I feel like when I was a kid, like do you know that band, the Berserker?
Berserker? No, I've never heard of the Berserker.
So they're Australian. They're like on Earache Records. They're like death metal, but they had like all the drums were sampled with like techno gabba drums. So it's
nice.
It's like blast beats. So it's not modern, but
Right.
I feel like they just reached the pinnacle of heaviness, and nothing has. Since then, it's like nothing phases me.
Right.
But like, there's definitely like cool new ways of doing things that are heavy and extreme. Like that song had some really cool, more modern takes on just being extreme and heavy.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
But in terms of like people, I feel like the heaviness bar has been reached. It's just about different ways of doing it.
Yes.
I guess.
I agree because I feel like the low tuning has been explored at this point, like the literally like 9-string 10-string tuning that's like that low.
Yeah.
It's like you can that has been pushed. I feel like a lot of bands are getting more on the groove grind now for heaviness, like bringing rhythms to make something heavier, which is nice. It's
all about context, isn't it? It's like how you bring a riff in, because if you just like start with a riff, I don't know, like say like the Domination riff by Pantera, like the original breakdown, I guess.
Good.
If the song started with that, it would just be like, oh, okay. But it's because the whole song builds and then drops down into it that it's like it's a payoff. So having a payoff is the riff doesn't need to be. I don't know. Yeah,
that makes sense 100%. And dude, good pick. That like breakdown of Pantera like is so undervalued even by like modern metal kid standards usually, because like that goes so hard even compared to even like stuff like this. Like it matches up, and that was old.
Yeah, and it's just an E or whatever.
E. Right. That's something also I want to give you guys mad credit for, because on my channel I used to do a series like heaviest riffs in every tuning. And every time I would go to the higher tunings, people would always be like, there's, it's not going to be as heavy as like that drop C or the drop B. But then there's like the E standard and the D standard, and always be Sylosis riffs. And everyone was like, wow, that's like the heaviest riff I've heard all year. And, breaking the grounds of like that stigma that you have to tune lower to be heavy, which, I'm sure it helps frequency wise, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not needed.
There's certain elements. Yeah, we've just moved to this newest tracks. Our first track in C sharp standard, which is where we're now shifting to. But for me personally, that's kind of as low as I like to be for Sylosis, because as a fan of like production and like guitar tones, I feel like once you go lower than B, it's like a less enjoyable guitar tone, because you've got to cut more low end and boost more mid range, and like so like C just feels there's a bit more weight, but you still get that tight, mean, thrashy thing coming through. So it's the best of both worlds for me.
You guys always pull it off, and it's great to see bands, and yeah, it makes sense because you guys are much more fast paced with that, whereas Architects is much more slower, more open space, for the ambience, for vocals and stuff. So it fits having that lower kind of tuning. But Josh, any fun like things that people can't just read online about this track? Maybe fun stories in the studio, or how the conception that people might be like, oh wow, I didn't know that, and there's no other way I would have known that unless you told me.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I guess I haven't really spoken about the lyrics before, and it's lyrically about you can apply it to either bands or like actors or whatever, like people you grew up idolizing, and then just like them doing some dumb shit or saying some dumb shit or finding out some skeletons in their closet that just like ruins your memory of this, like these people that you idolized, and like all your memories and fondness of something that was so big in your life that it's just kind of like, oh fuck, that sucks.
Yeah.
So the lyrics are kind of scathing, but it's definitely not like every situation like that is different, and it's not about cancel culture or anything like that, but that's kind of just what the song's about lyrically. Right. And in terms of the song musically, it's just like it's just a fucking metal song. Like, sorry, can I swear? It just came out.
I love that. That's the best
description. Metal song. Like,
it's a metal song. Let's fucking go, chat. Let's do it.
Yeah. The comments have been great. I think it's gone down really well. I think like I've seen a few comments that it's inevitable. People are just going, "Oh, it sounds like Architects now." I'm like, I don't think you'd make that comparison if I wasn't in both bands, because I know who I was ripping off. Sepultura, Pantera, all the same shit I always listen to.
Are you big? Do you keep up to date to a point? Because I know you also like you're hip in the sense like you stream on Twitch, and like you even doing that I know is much more modern for a lot of bands. Like, do you try to keep up with comments or YouTube or even things like Reddit and shit like that?
No, definitely not Reddit. I'll read comments now and then, but for the most part, when you release something, it's just good to go and just let people.
That's fair. Yeah.
I did check out the comments for this one. It was sick. Like, the reaction has been amazing so far. So I'm stoked on how it's gone down.
Oh hell yeah! I love that like lo-fi soundscape to build the theme. That's it. You waste no time. I love it. You guys just fucking go for the heavy riffs. Let's do it.
It's definitely a bit more to the point than some of our previous stuff, I guess.
Right. Dude, I always think of you as a guitarist first, because I've known that more. So I always forget you're like a ridiculously good vocalist. Like, you even have that like sing, scream, grit when you choose to turn it on.
Thank you. Yeah, I've definitely worked a lot on that recently.
Right.
I always used to just focus on the riff. I can scream anything, but
it's just the noise. Yeah, the riff though. Respect coming as a guitarist. The riff is very important. Are you a riff first dude usually when it comes to writing? Yeah.
Most of the time. Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
Sometimes I write a piano first.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so then more melody based and then transposing, or even maybe a vocal line and stuff. Okay. Oh. Okay, we either getting some kind of chunk, some kind of solo, or just something, everything in between. I'm ready. Oh, we ramping. Nothing like a good thrown in there too to accent that excitement. And the solo. You're spoiling us, Josh. You gave us both, man.
I find it hard to do a song without a solo. It just feels wrong.
Damn, dude. Okay. Beautifully back into that chorus. That's a nice fucking like end scream there you threw there, dude. I can tell that's not maybe the easiest one to read too, and you went for it. You're a riff machine, my God.
Thank you very much.
We're getting a breakdown too.
Kinda, yeah. I guess so.
Anything with zeros that has the kicks matching it to me is a breakdown nowadays.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
or stereo
it
down.
Just sounds like Pantera to me.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, yeah, I guess I take no offense in calling it a breakdown.
Just don't. You guys just keep going. I love that.
Yeah, no one does fade outs anymore, so
just
find something fun and just stick with it, and let Ali do some crazy fills over it because he's a sick drummer.
Oh, I hear all the whammy work. That's almost like I mean, it's Pantera, but also a little Avenged-y, like some Sinister Gates kind of fun up and down, but mainly Dimebag kind of with the whammy stuff.
Yeah, and the whammy pedal at the same time, just making horrible noises.
I love how much, as a guitarist, I can tell the time you put into the riffs, but without neglecting everything else. Like the vocals were just as important as the riffs. So many times nowadays, it feels like, a lot of modern metal bands, they'll have like the one riff, and then the rest of the song is just to get to the chorus, and then maybe the one riff again. Whereas like this whole song is just riff happiness. Like every riff actually matters, which is so rare, dude. Damn.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's exactly like what I try and do. Like I feel like we're a bit more concise and the songs are a bit shorter these days than they used to be, but right. I still want to get as many riffs in as possible. And they all have to be good. They can't just, there could be no filler riffs.
No filler.
That's exactly the aim. So I'm glad you think that too.
Dude, yeah. Well, I love that mentality, right? Because like a lot of bands like this, they would decompartmentalize and take all these riffs and probably make 4 different songs. Well, 4 songs that sound similar because they are part of the same song. But you know what I mean? Like have those riffs and that's it. Part main stage. And you got them all. Every riff actually mattered. And dude, your vocals are absolutely menacing.
Thank you. Yeah.
You even, again, it has that grit, that sing scream thing, which I know you've been, I think, how long have you been doing like the sing scream, like melodic screaming in Sylosis? For a bit now, right? Like,
yeah, since the first record. I mean, like our first singer did it, then I took over on the second album and I did it. My range wasn't as high as I can get now, so I was a bit more like
right.
Gajira, like just like I had about 4 notes that I used to do,
right?
And now I can hit higher notes. But I've never been like too keen on just singing in choruses. I think when we first kind of came out, like we didn't want to get lumped in with metalcore stuff. So I quickly tried to just be like, right. Not that I had a problem with it because I grew up listening to hardcore bands as well and stuff, but I just wanted us to like make our own path and separate ourselves from what was going on. So we started like, that's why we tuned up to E. We stopped playing anything that resembled a breakdown for a while, and we didn't do the melodic choruses. But that's something that was just like, well, we don't need to impose all these restrictions on ourselves anymore. If something sounds like a breakdown, fine, I don't care. It's fun.
And that's what I love how you even describe this. I know it's a funny description, but it's true. It's like, this is a metal song. Like it's modern metal. Like, and that's something I do think is really important nowadays when, it's very easy for people, even including myself, to be like, okay, here's a metalcore song, here's a deathcore song, here's this. And then sadly, even though that's great for, organizing things, as a listener, it also makes it hard when a band wants to not do just a metalcore song or a deathcore song or this type of song. And it's great that you guys have already embedded that for so long in your style to just be a modern metal band that has all the flavors and you can go between them as you wish without people being like, oh, now, they have a melody, a sellouts, you know what I mean? Like that's always the thing.
I mean, I saw something like that the other day and I was like, we've had much more like singy melodic stuff in the past that we don't do now. This is just standard for us now. But I feel like there's a huge gap in like the metal world, and there's so much great new music, so many great bands. So I'm not complaining, but just in terms of like just metal without being in a specific genre, like I guess there's like Lamb of God, Trivium, and there's a bunch of other bands doing it, but it's not that many, and there's not many like newer bands.
Right. True.
It was just like a metal band. It's either like deathcore and cool, like loads of bands are doing something new, but at the same time there's just like a gap to me as a listener. Like I just want to hear like, where's the new like Far Beyond Driven or Great Southern Tranquil, or
yeah,
I don't know.
100%.
Anyway.
No, that makes sense, and it gives you.
But
guys
I'm not
that
complaining.
I don't. Again, it gives you guys the freedom, which I think is really great, and you can just focus on what sounds good here. What do we want to put to make the song work, right? And
I feel like we've got a big, playground of sounds to play with now, that we can kind of do a super fast, thrashy, technical song, or we can do just a straight ahead one. But it doesn't mean that we're going to move in any specific direction. We can just kind of keep covering all of it, I guess.
Yeah. Well, again, we're musicians, right? That's the thing. I think a lot of people forget. Musicians like a lot of different shit, and sometimes they feel like writing heavy stuff, and sometimes they feel like writing chill stuff, and then maybe the next day they'll want to write the heaviest thing, right? It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's this back and forth. So it's awesome you guys have that freedom, and you guys have embedded that in the band for so long. But you guys, again, you hone the craft. The riffs matter. Your drummer too is incredible, and how he's matching your riff work, but also building on it and adding a lot of groove spices and cool little accents.
Oh yeah, he's amazing.
And in general, just like a nice cohesive unit where you're doing crazy vocals too. Whereas like I love hearing that. I do you for the Architect stuff. Do you do any of the backing vocals at all, or mess around with some of the stuff? Or
I do a few tiny bits on the recording, but I do a bit more live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bit more live. That makes it, because it's like you have an insane voice, and like I said, it's crazy. I always
thank you. It's really hard when I do backing vocals live, because I don't sound anything like Sam. And I've got a much lower voice, so when I go to do like backing vocals, he's like, "Oh, can you do this line?" And it's something that he's recorded. I'm always like, "Oh, this sounds terrible," because I don't sound anything like him.
Yeah.
But in Sylosis, it's my voice, and it's just easy to like feel confident, because I'm like, "Yeah, this is how I sound." I'm stoked. But
100%, that makes sense, man. Well, yeah, I mean, hell yeah, Sylosis, heavy is the crown. New track, check it out right now. I'm sure more spicy stuff is coming. So be on watch again. Yes, stream it.
It will.
Then it will. Oh yeah. Anything announceable or all under?
No, well, I mean, we're working on a new record right now, and I can safely say it's easily the heaviest thing we've done. Like
that's my question. Favorite sentence.
So, bands say that all the time, but it is. I have no qualms in saying that without
That's fair.
I have great confidence. It is the heaviest thing we have done easily. I'm stoked.
Who's doing the new Sylosis stuff?
Just me.
You're mixing the new? Really?
Yeah, that last one was me. The last album, everything we've done since the last record has been me. Yeah, I just I'm a nightmare to.
I
give stuff to other people. Yeah, not much. No.
I was offensive. I'm like, damn it, you're in two huge bands, right? Doing both guitar and vocal duty, and you're mixing and writing.
Yeah, I'm producing. Yeah, me and Dan produce the Architect stuff together. I do a lot of engineering with that, and then with the Sylosis, I also mix it. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Okay. I enjoy it. I get so obsessive over that stuff. It's just, just let me do it.
Right. Yeah. Okay, that's fair. And I mean, I'm sure Sylosis is very like it's it's like your baby at that point, right? Like you've been with it for so long, and you the vocals, you're doing the guitars, and that it's like if it's gonna get done, like let's do it right. Let's make sure it sounds exactly from inception all the way to it being released, right? So that
ideally, yeah.
Damn it, you're busy, dude, man. I don't envy that. That's a lot of work, dude. Anything you want to say before you head out for the night?
My brain is way too cooked to think of anything right now. It's so hot. We've got a crazy heat wave here in the UK, and we don't have AC anywhere because we're not prepared for it. So I'm just like melting right now. So my brain's just like,